The April snow falling on fruit blossoms in Europe in early April may be directly connected to the loss of sea ice in the Barents Sea in the Arctic. This was not the first time in recent years that a sudden and unexpected cold spell, known as the Beast from the East, struck parts of Europe. Snowstorms relating to global warming? This needs an explanation. Listen to Professor Allan Hubbard from the Arctic University of Norway.
Climate change doesn't always manifest in the most obvious ways.
Yeah, it does seem like a paradox. And that is what's really fun about this study is it sort of explains the unexpected. And the least thing we would expect is more snowfall. In fact, there was a prediction by the UK Met Office about 6 months ago saying we're going to have less and less snowy winters and how sad that is. And to explain it, we have to look right up into the Arctic and what's going on with the Arctic Ocean. And in the last 50 years, it has gone from being almost completely covered with sea ice each winter. Well, 2/3 to almost full 100% cover to virtually nothing in the most recent years.
The Barents Sea is warming up and it's as if you take the lid off the pan.
And that water, that vapor, has been swept southwards with what we call an Arctic outbreak, a cold air outbreak. These are fairly common. This isn't related to climate warming per se, or we don't know quite where they are, but these are fairly common phenomena. But what's happened is that with this new source of moisture and vapor coming from the Arctic, it's bringing more extreme snowfall to Europe.
Mr. Allan Hubbard noticed that 3 years ago the same weather conditions took place. The beast from the east.
The thing is that the what we call in the English, well, UK, I guess, the beast from the east. I think it was called the Siberian Express in Germany or something like that. They have various words, names for these cold air outbreaks that affect Europe, and we had a mild one last month, and they also affect North America. I mean, we heard a lot about freezing temperatures in Texas. What we're finding now is that the Arctic is opening up, and that's forming a new vapor source, and that's what's new about this study. So not the cold air outbreaks in themselves, but the fact that they're now carrying a lot more precipitation, moisture, which falls as snow when it's cold, and of course more intense rainfall when it's warmer.
Though fun for new generations of children, it's serious business for some sectors in agriculture. Take the wine culture in France.
There's lots of different forms of agriculture for sure, not just the infrastructure, but agriculture that you really upset the growing season or the start of the summer cycle if you have this bad weather in March, April, and snowfall.
Analyzing the data, he was amazed to find out that so much moisture would come from the Arctic.
We came up with this magic number, and it is quite amazing that for every meter squared of sea ice lost in the Arctic, and meter squared, I mean, the size of your sofa, for every meter squared, we have an additional 70 liters of water being evaporated and available in the atmosphere as rainfall and snowfall elsewhere. And when you think that the Arctic is millions and millions of square kilometers, that's a huge potential new source of water.
As a child, Allan developed an interest in how nature works. After years of scientific research, it showed that our climate is behaving different than he expected.
I'm curious about the way that the world works. I mean, I was brought up, as I said, between the mountains and the coast in Wales, and I think it sets up a nice curiosity about how the world works. And I think we're all built into the idea that nature is something very static, and actually it is incredibly dynamic, and we're finding more and more that they're responding incredibly rapidly, and those changes are manifesting themselves both abruptly but very high order of magnitude. I mean, the effects of these changes are big.